If you've ever wondered what is the best possible entry-level motorcycle for a grown man, I got the answer for you right here. So I've got 5 killer reasons to buy the Vulcan 900. It's one of the best first motorcycles for you. And stay to the end where I got the best reason after the test drive. But before we get into that, everyone's always asking me, Sean, where do you get your awesome merch? Where do you get these cool shirts? Not this shirt, this is a Levi, just some dumb Levi shirt I got at Costco. But the shirts I normally wear, where do you get these awesome shirts? You can get that stuff at bikesandbeardsgear.com. We got tons of awesome, cool stuff. We also sell our tank straps there for tying down your bikes. We also sell the best motorcycle gloves in the world right there. Bikesandbeardsgear.com. We have tons of awesome shirts and they're super comfortable. Check them out right now. The link is in the description below. This particular model is what they call the Classic. There's 2 different models. You get the Classic and you get the Custom. The biggest difference is the fenders. In the Classic, you got bigger fenders. The Custom, you got smaller ones. The Custom has a narrower front tire. The Custom has cast wheels instead of spoked wheels. The Custom has pegs, where the Classic has floorboards. And the Classic is almost always two-toned. I love these bikes, and one of the unique, cool things that Kawasaki does with all their Vulcans is it doesn't matter what color scheme it is, there's almost always a pinstripe or some hint of Kawasaki green built in somewhere on the bike. Either way you go, if you want the Classic or if you want to go the Custom route, they're both very, very comfortable and just very awesome looking motorcycles. Now, for a lot of people, they think starter bikes are supposed to be really, really small. And that doesn't have to be the case. I'm 6'2", I feel very, very comfortable on this. These things have stock, like beach bar handlebars. I got plenty of space. The handlebars aren't touching my knees. I just feel very comfortable on this bike. But the cool thing is, it only has a 28-inch seat height. So you can be much shorter than me and also feel very comfortable on it. The 900cc motor that powers this thing is a water-cooled V-twin with 4 valves per cylinder, and it's connected to the wheels through a 5-speed gearbox. And although the bike only makes 50 horsepower, which does not sound very much, it does a great job at getting the power to the ground, so it feels pretty decent. You'll see it on the test drive, but also the fact that it only weighs 620 pounds. It feels great, to be honest with you. Not only is this bike good for you riding by yourself, it's also great for riding with a passenger on the back, and to be pretty comfortable. It's got a nice little cushion backrest back here. It's not that bad. If you were to ask me what other 2 bikes would be in this same category of good, large, full-size motorcycles that adults can start riding on, it'd be the Vulcan 900, of course. It'd be the Suzuki Boulevard C50, and it'd be the Yamaha V-Star 950. All those are great bikes. They're all fuel injected. We've got tons of videos on those bikes, so check out our channel if you want to see one of those other videos. What makes this bike such an awesome entry-level bike for adults and larger people is the fact that it's not super tiny. A lot of times people think you have to buy a Honda Rebel to learn on, and then within 3 weeks you've outgrown it. Somehow this bike is simultaneously a good entry-level bike, but also a good bike for anybody who just enjoys riding. This could be your first bike, and this could be the last bike you ever had. This could be your forever bike also. These bikes are also incredibly reliable. They're very simple. I've owned tons of these things, never had any issues other than batteries and tires, and they're fuel injected. So just fill it up, keep the oil changed, fire it up and go. I'm dying to take this thing for a spin. I know you guys are too. And at the end of that, I'm gonna tell you the best thing about this motorcycle. All right, guys, before we do the test drive, let's do the words of wisdom right now. Proverbs 3:7, do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Here's another one. You're getting 2 of these because I like this other one. Matthew 6:3, but when you give to the poor, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. I got a really good example of that. I'll tell you guys why I get this thing fired up. When I was a kid, I was driving, maybe 16 years old, had no money. I'd be hanging at my grandparents' house because they had food and I really liked them. And my grandma would slip me a $20 bill, and she'd be like, here's a $20 bill, don't tell your grandfather. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, Grandma. And then, like, 5 minutes later, my grandpa would do the exact same thing, and he'd be like, hey, here's a $20 bill, for gas and stuff like that. Don't tell your grandma. I don't know if they were like in cahoots about this, and they both knew what was going on, or if they were not letting the left hand know what the right hand was doing. And I thought that was awesome. So let's get back to the bike. I really do, and people do ask me all the time about these bikes, and I tell them the same thing, and I genuinely feel like this is just anyone can own this bike. You could be riding for decades. You could be riding the biggest, baddest, fastest bikes, but you jump on a bike like this, and this just gets it done. It just gets it done. It gets you out there. It's not slow. It's not fast. It's not a hot rod, but it's still a motorcycle, and it's very, very comfortable, and it's big feeling, and you know, it's just an awesome motorcycle. Let's keep on riding it. Now we'll jump out to the highway. We'll do a 0 to 60 and see how that feels. I'm guessing this is gonna be maybe 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds, 0 to 60. Nothing ground shattering fast, but if you compare that to an automobile, it's actually pretty decent. What I like about these bikes is they do make them in really, really cool color schemes. Like wild stuff. They got a really cool matte white with like a gloss black, and they got a cool green one, and I don't know, I think they really knocked it out of the park with these really awesome color schemes. Depending on the year, you're gonna have different options, of course. And I like that. I like the idea of having a cool bright bike or something like this. It's just a cool, classy looking color, and it's a very clean looking motorcycle, and they're just so incredibly simple, where you know every time you jump on the bike it's just gonna fire up. The clutch is a cable clutch, and it's very light. I mean, I can clutch with one finger. Not my pinky finger. Maybe I can. No, I can't. I can clutch with one finger. Throttle's really light. It is a very easy bike to ride. No one's ever gonna be like, that's too hard of a bike to ride. And honestly, even this is a great bike for a lot of women because it's just not heavy. It's at 620 pounds. It is a very light motorcycle. I mean, it's not as light as the Vulcan 650S, but you know, for the size of it, it is a very light bike. How does it handle? It handles great. Like a lot of motorcycles, chances are you are the limiting factor of how good that bike can handle. Now, I think in the later years of these Vulcans, they did start doing cooler paint schemes and blacking out the forks and stuff like that. You also get ones with chrome. And another cool thing about them is because they've been making this bike for a long time, there's so much aftermarket for it that, I mean, this windshield, I've never seen a windshield like that before. Never seen a windshield on one of these bikes. It's an aftermarket windshield. It does a pretty good job, and you can make the bike your own bike. I know a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel like you know, they don't want to keep it stock. Personally, I'm cool with keeping a bike stock, but they don't want to keep it stock. They want to accessorize it, which sounds very girlish. Like accessories. But they want to accessorize their bike and put stuff on them. If you're in the BMW community, you call it farkle. I'm serious. That's the thing they call it. They call it. It's got a lot of farkle on it. Bags and heated grips and all this stuff. But there's a lot of stuff in the aftermarket that you can modify this motorcycle and make it suit and fit your specific needs. Now let's go crush it on the 0 to 60. Here's my strategy. I'm gonna rev it out pretty high and then just drop the clutch. And it's gonna be awesome. There. Like I said, it's not groundbreaking 0 to 60 times, but it's not underpowered. It does have plenty of power. I can do the highway speeds, and if I want to accelerate and go faster, I don't have to downshift to do it. You could have all your luggage, you could have your gal in the back, and you can get wherever you want to go. You're not going to have any problems going up hills. It's silly for us to be even asking the question, is a 900cc motorcycle big enough for a man? It absolutely is. It has plenty of power. Now, if I got in a race with like an 1800, is it going to win? No, it's not. It's probably not going to win. But if all your buddies are all cruising at 75, 80, 90 miles an hour, can you keep up with them? Absolutely. I'm about to pass this truck. I've met a lot of people who have done very long, like, cross-country road trips.
on a bike like this, and they loved it. They thought it was a great bike. It's smooth cruising. Really not that much to complain about. Alright guys, so here's the best thing about this motorcycle. This is hands down, just it wraps up the whole package of this bike. How it's comfortable and it fits good, and it's got good power, and it looks awesome, and all these things are all so much better when you find out that these bikes are so incredibly inexpensive. Brand new, I think you can buy one for like around $8,000, and then on the used market, you know what I mean, you can find these things as cheap as $3,500 for like a 2007 with 30,000 miles. Like, it's insane how much of a motorcycle you can get for around $5 grand, and this is definitely an awesome bike to get. And these things run for a long time. I mean, I've not seen them with over 60,000 miles, but I've ridden them with 60,000 miles, and they ran awesome. So there's no reason why I couldn't just keep on going. So that wraps it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this bike. Check out this other video right here. Checking out another awesome bike. We will see you guys later. Remember, it is not what you're riding, but where you're going. And check out bikesandbeardsgear.com for your cool gear.